The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien coming to you live from TFNN. As I talk to you, market's trading a little bit lower. We got a record close in the Dow yesterday. We picked things up on Tuesday morning. The main event this week going to be NVIDIA earnings tomorrow after the bell. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up later in the program. But check it out. Just even in the last hour, we were positive up at 56.40. Yesterday, we were trading at 56.69 when I was doing the program at the open at 9:30. This morning, just in the last hour, check it out. We trade down about 26 points. We're negative by 23 in the S&Ps. That's about 0.4%. NASDAQ 100, you see the slide as well. Negative by about 110 points. That's about 0.5% in the red, 19,481. The Dow this morning. So we did not reach a record, because you got that record out there. Let me pull it back. Yeah, that record out there. Now, this is on the futures. We've had a couple rolls, but that was a record close on the Dow. And nonetheless, we've rolled over a little bit right now. We're off by about 0.3%, off 133 points in the Dow futures, trading 41,202. And jumping around, you get the Russell right now, negative by 18 points, trading at 2209. Bitcoin down $1,000, 62,295. You got crude. Negative by about 60 pennies. Been quite a pop the last couple days for crude. Back to a 5-minute chart. You see the acceleration from last Wednesday at 71. We're up to 77 yesterday. We're chopping around near 77 at 76.77 right now. Gold contract pulls back a bit. We were up at 25.60 yesterday. We're trading at 25.45. All things considered on gold, just bumping up against that all-time high. We're at 25.45. The way gold moves, 25.70, we're within a stone's throw of that all-time high. We could reach it at any moment the way we get some of these vicious moves in this market. We jump over to notes and bonds. The theme has been higher price and lower yield. And yeah, that's basically intact. We hit a high yesterday of 114.17, and this morning we're backing off a bit. We're negative by 8 ticks, and you still have the 10-year sitting at 3.85. 3.85, not bad. We were at about 3.78 yesterday when I was doing the program, I think. 3.78, so we're at 3.85. Still well below where we've been as we come into the first possible cuts coming down the line, September 18th at the Fed's next meeting. You jump over to the dollar index. You get the dollar down about 5 pennies, 180, and boy, yeah, it's been quite a decline. We take a look at a little bit of a longer-term chart of the dollar, and how about that, right? Keep your eye on it. Talk about a critical level. We break this level. Where are we heading? Well, maybe 90. Seems like that would be the natural spot. You back it up to the lows of 2021. And remember, it's so interesting, right? That's before the Fed started doing anything. You still had interest rates on the zero bound coming out of COVID. Right, there's COVID. Excuse me. You come to the zero bound in 2021. The market starts figuring out that, hey, excuse me, battling this little cold. Market starts figuring out, hey, the Fed's probably going to have to raise interest rates. The economy's on fire. Inflation may be a problem. We drive up to 115. And yeah, we're trading at 179, but keep that in mind, man, as in we are at a critical level. That's a monthly, right? Let alone, look at how that's going back almost 2 years, folks. We are at a critical level. You break through there, and yeah, you're probably heading to 90 on the dollar, and we'll see where we go from there. It depends how fast, how furious the cutting has to come, how strong the economy is, and we get a little bit of a precursor for that on Wednesday after the bell. So, NVIDIA. We're down about $1, trade at 125.30 for NVIDIA. All-time highs of $140 out there when it was the most valuable company in the world. And yeah, you talk about a little bit of a sell-off yesterday, man, from 131 down to 124. How many shares they got? I think they got 25 billion. Is that right? Pull up the fundamentals. Yeah, 24.5 billion shares. So we call it 25 billion shares. I don't think we've ever had a time where we've had just a dramatic oscillations of market cap as in you trade down $7. That's $175 billion in market cap over the span of an hour yesterday. $175 billion in market cap over the span of an hour just yesterday. They are a mammoth company, but it's just a demonstration of the type of volatility that's possible in this market right now. When you look at a company like NVIDIA, where it is priced almost for perfection, when you think about the growth that is factored into this equity. And what are we talking about for expected move? You want action through Friday, you're looking at about $14 in either direction. So that's looking at about $7 for at-the-money puts and calls. You're trading at about 126. So yeah, the market's implying about a what? 11%? 11% move in either direction. Not as big as it probably could be with the moves that this thing has some days when you don't even have news, right? A move like yesterday, you move $7. No real news. We get earnings tomorrow after the bell. You better believe there's a potential for it to move. All right, and we're going to kick things off with, NVIDIA. You got it, man. So, checking it out. This one's over here. Now, this is an opinion piece, okay? But John Authors over at Bloomberg, I like some of the stuff that he puts out there, and it's just talking about some of the metrics I really wanted to go over. NVIDIA is not normal. Never mind earnings. Now, monopoly power has a price. The weight in the S&P 500 will make for a twitchy end-of-summer earnings report. That's for sure. And check out some of the weightings that they talk about here, okay? First of all, how about the market cap? You don't have to go back that far, which is remarkable when you think about this company was only worth in its entirety under $300 billion less than 2 years ago. We've had, Elon's been close to $300 billion, right? Bezos has been close to $300 billion. What are they at right now? I'll look them up. They're probably at 220, 240, somewhere in that realm. It is remarkable when you think about that we're probably going to have a trillionaire pretty soon, and you look at something like this and said, man, if they were just concentrated enough in some of their wagers, you do have runs like that. And over a 2-year period of time, you have one equity in particular goes from $300 billion up to $3.5 trillion. I think they hit 3.4 at one point when they were the most valuable company. It's been quite a stratospheric run. Now, this is why the indices are going to be volatile, especially tomorrow. This is the S&P 500. NVIDIA, this is their weighting in the S&P 500. Excuse me. Since GPT came out, it was at about a 1% weighting. And it had already run, okay? It's now at 6%, 6.62, 6.6 to be exact. Yeah. And then you look at how their earnings have been a key driver of the broad market, okay? NVIDIA reaction to earnings highly correlated with the broader market's performance over the next 2 weeks, okay? And this is talking about NVIDIA 1-week earnings reaction versus the S&P 500 2-week return. And you can basically see that they are centered around this correlated line. It would make sense, right? They're driving this market. AI is driving this market in pretty dramatic fashion. Yeah, and you take a look at this. We'll take a look at some of this when we get back, folks. We're going to come back from the break. But yes, we got NVIDIA after the bell tomorrow. NVIDIA this morning. We're tanking again. Not tanking, right? But we're down $2. And $2 for an equity like this, that's $50 billion in market cap, man. We're going to talk NVIDIA when we get back, folks. We'll talk some health stocks. We'll talk some equities. We'll take a look at gold as well. We've got a lot to talk about. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Don't go away.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, folks. We got the S&P's down 17 right now. NASDAQ 100 off by 92. We're taking a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA off by about $1.50 as we kick off the trading session in about 12 minutes from right now. We're trading at 125. Remember, they got about 25 billion shares outstanding, and pretty remarkable when you take a look at, right? 25 billion shares outstanding, and this thing has a $14 move of implied move in either direction. You're talking about, what's that, 25? That's 250. Plus another $350 billion in either direction is what you're going to get on a market cap move on NVIDIA. And that's just the expected move. We know it can get bigger than that, right? Taking a look at some of these other charts. Since ChatGPT, okay, there's ChatGPT. NVIDIA's price to sales, yeah, it's been quite a little bit of a rocket, man. Since ChatGPT, the company has traded on a massive multiple of sales. It is interesting. The run there. I mean, they got quite an earnings juggernaut, though. The margins that they take in are just dramatic, and that is putting it lightly. Check out the sales growth. When you talk about NVIDIA versus Intel and Cisco, you don't even see them move, man. And NVIDIA is up 262%. The revenue has grown at a rate that dwarfs that of past disruptors. Yeah, there's no disrupting whatsoever going on right now in Intel and Cisco. Yeah. Second quarter was the first quarter of a multi-year AI investment cycle. That's what they're talking about. And look at these numbers in terms of what they're talking about. This is the hyperscalers' quarterly CapEx. And you're talking about these are their customers that make up almost half their business. Microsoft, Meta, Google, Amazon. They're not going to stop, man. Right? Look at this number in terms of where they're going and how much money they're going to be spending on capital expenditure, man. Absolutely remarkable when you look at where they were. And that number keeps going, and it's not going to stop, folks. All right, we are on the forefront here, and you hear Zuckerberg talk about it, right? Elon, it's not going to stop. The race is on for computing power. Yeah. And I like this one, as we know. The biggest issue confronting NVIDIA is how long it can maintain monopoly status. This is the one I was having a great discussion with Jacob a couple weeks ago, somewhere. Saying, man, they're a monopoly. Their customers are the biggest customers in the world. Are they going to rely? Are you going to be a company like they have to rely on them right now, right? But put yourself in Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla. They're all relying on this one company, and the race is on. It would make sense that there is at least incentive to have somebody else competing, maybe make those chips in-house. Listen, it's almost mission impossible. But when you're talking about a company that you're spending $30 billion, $60 billion with them over a year, maybe it makes sense to put a little bit of money into creating a competitor to that degree. But nonetheless, they're the top dog for right now, and they're going to stay that way for a period of time. So nonetheless, NVIDIA, they're going to be out tomorrow. We'll see where they go. We got a little bit of volatility, to say the least, and we'll see where we go from there. How about China yesterday with Pinduoduo? We talked about Temu a little bit on the program. And you talk about a tank, man. You go from $140 down to $95, folks. You're talking about a drop of what, 30% almost on that equity, and we're picking up right where we left off. You ended right at 100 on the dot. How about that for our man Basil Chapman? Nice round numbers. 100 to the penny yesterday, and we're trading down about $1.70 right now, trading at 98.36 in Pinduoduo. And you look at a longer term chart. How about wiping out everything back to 3 years ago? Let's see where this goes longer term than that. Yeah, look at that thing, man. Absolutely remarkable. You're back to July of 2020 on Pinduoduo. You think about the run that they've had. Temu comes out of almost nowhere to dominate retail. They're making Amazon change their game and actually develop that they're going to have a similar game plan, and that's what's hurting them, of course, in the same regard. But keep your eye on that one. Excuse me, folks, because some of the growth going on in China might not be indicative of sustainable growth, and that's what they're talking about here. When you talk about $55 billion stock, and that's what's remarkable too, right? So I just talked about that yesterday. NVIDIA lost $55 billion. Well, they're a much bigger company, okay? Pinduoduo lost $55 billion too, and that was a decline of 30%, right? Surprised investors with a gloomy outlook, and I'd be careful, man, because it's not just about China's economic downturn. It's some of the growth prospects built into some of those companies that are doing business even outside of China. Okay, we're seeing many new challenges ahead, from changing consumer demand, intensifying competition, and uncertainties in the global environment. Okay, so that goes beyond just China. When you talk about something like Temu there, consumption, they got a problem no matter what. But this Pinduoduo, man, remarkable nonetheless. All right, and how about Boeing, man? Elon, I wonder, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when Elon, look at me typing in Elon. I went to pull up Tesla. When he got the call saying that NASA is going to use their vehicle instead of Boeing's. And, I was watching an interview over the weekend with a former NASA director on some news program. And it is remarkable. There's always safety risks, right? And they're trying to make the best decisions to push innovation forward without doing it at the expense of safety. And there's always a fine line there, because everything's a little bit dangerous when you're sending rockets and people into space. It's doing it in a way that's as safe as possible while still exploring that frontier. And it just never ends, man. Those poor astronauts, I'm sure they're going to be doing okay. And, I say that now. It's easier saying that here, but that is why they're some of the best up there. I can't imagine the mental games when you get up to space. I mean, it's straight out of, what was that movie with Matt Damon where he gets stuck on Mars? Not straight out of it, but you are literally stranded in space for 6 months. They got to send a new vehicle up there from an entirely different company. Maybe they'll make a movie out of this one, right? And Elon's going to show up and save the day with SpaceX, but that's the truth of it, which is pretty remarkable. And you jump over to Boeing. This is where, Elon, I am not an Elon hater, man. The things that he's done are just absolutely remarkable. You look at a company like Boeing, and somehow they're at the forefront of a company like Boeing. And you talk about a head start. So NASA wanted to use Starliner, a new spacecraft from Boeing, to give itself more options. But yeah, they became the first ones, the astronauts, Sunita Williams and Barry Butch Wilmore, became the first to travel on that in early June for a week. And yeah, now they're stuck here. Numerous technical glitches with the space capsule forced NASA on August 24th to announce the two will be forced to return in February. It's only August, folks. Imagine that, you know? I'm not sure if they have families. They definitely have lives. They were supposed to be up there for a week. You only got a certain amount of years on this planet, and boom, it's like one of those years is just gone, sitting there in space. But it's a testament to SpaceX in terms of the progress they've made, and that's going to be a juggernaut, man. We'll see where we go. All right, we'll get back. We're going to talk a little bit of podcasts. We'll talk a little Amazon. Amazon scoops up the Kelsey Brothers podcast for $100 million. We'll be right back, folks.
The consistency you're looking for is closer than you think. 1 or 2 adjustments are usually all you need to change your equity curve from red to green and keep it there. Come join Larry Pesavento live to learn what separates the winners from the losers. Join Larry Pesavento on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where Larry will show you the market setting up and, most important of all, the state of mind of a winning trader. By watching Larry trade, you'll learn the Fibonacci levels, you'll learn how to apply A to B to C to D trading patterns, you'll learn trade management, pattern recognition, and much more. Join Larry August 9th and 23rd for more live trading action. For this month only, use code LarryAug24 at checkout to save $50 off your first month as a subscriber to Live Trading Fridays for his live trading sessions, where you'll sit right beside him as he trades the market live. For this month only, enter code LarryAug24 and save $50 off your first month. For all the information and to reserve your spot today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We get the market open. You got the S&Ps down by 15 right now, trading at 56.22. We check in on some of the biggest equities out there. NVIDIA shares down by about $1 or 0.8% in the red right now. We jump over to Amazon, down about 0.6%. Apple, the big dogs, down about 0.5%. Microsoft shares this morning down 0.3%. You got the NASDAQ 100 off by about 65. Google shares slightly in the red as well. And you jump back to Amazon. So These podcasters, man, I wonder how this is all going to play out, because it seems like a lot of money. But as we know, when I tell you stories of, not stories, but when I show you that these big tech companies, you move a couple dollars, you got $50 billion in market cap that moves. Not a huge deal. I appreciate Iloto, how do you pronounce that one in the den? But posting about this one, yeah, and you talk about it, man. So the Kelsey brothers, $100 million in Amazon. Not bad. You talk about it, man. Quite a number. Yeah, this is out this morning. So their podcast, New Heights, of course, been on the rise lately. I was trying to see how many years this was for. It's usually a few years that they lock them in. And I'm always seeing snippets of this. I don't listen to it myself. Yeah, and you got Jason Kelsey, so he retired. He's going to start appearing on Monday Night Countdown in September. Travis, best tight end ever in the game probably, just won the back-to-back Super Bowl wins. When you talk about a platform for exposure, and then you got the Swifties out there as well. So Amazon latching onto it all. I was trying to see how many years. Anybody know how many years that's for? I think it's probably for a few years. It's usually what these deals go. So they're going to produce and distribute their popular podcast, New Heights, $100 million. And I don't know if you saw, so there was the Call Her Daddy podcast, which just went for $125 million to Sirius. So Spotify was the one making these huge waves originally, right? They signed Rogan with God knows how much money. Then you have Sirius making a ditch effort for Call Her Daddy, which has a number of different podcasts that come with the Unwell Network, they call it. And this is a deal that's, of course, going to hinge on, exclusive ad results. That one. This one is for 3 years. And yeah, they're talking about in January, Amazon scooped up the Smartless podcast for a 3-year deal valued at $100 million. Now, I was just looking at some of these top numbers out here. Now, Call Her Daddy was the number 2 podcast out there. Okay. Only behind Joe Rogan originally. Now, when I just pulled up the podcast results, and this is just a quick Google, and maybe this goes week by week. I'm not sure when these actually change. Theo Vaughn, when's he getting his payday, man? I'm always seeing clips of him out there. You got Rogan. Tucker Carlson is a huge podcast now. It's the only way to access him now that he's not on Fox. Not familiar with the LOL podcast. Maybe they're getting paid. There's Call Her Daddy there. Pod Save America, which is a political deal. The headlines from the New York Times, that's a good one. They got a daily one, right? Where's the daily? There's the daily. I like that one from the Times. I'm not sure where the Kelsey brothers actually rank in here. Jon Stewart's down there. You got politics. You got news. Anyway, pretty remarkable the amount of money these companies are spending. And, ads drive a lot of it, as is usually the case. I was talking to my dad this weekend about even something like YouTube. It is absolutely remarkable how much YouTube would probably be worth on its own. And you're dealing with a little bit of almost baggage from Google, as in they're going to have their hands full. And dealing with ChatGPT, Microsoft Bing, the competition. I find myself going to ChatGPT all the time now for search results that I used to go instantly to Google for. That is going to factor into them at some point. Not quite yet, but it is remarkable when you look at YouTube. Tommy loves YouTube. His brother Landon loves YouTube, who's 7. I love YouTube myself. You want to do anything around your house. You want to change a garbage disposal. Go check out YouTube, right? You want to learn how to code. Go check out YouTube as it goes across the way. And that's never going to change. And it's all ad driven. So it is interesting, but the podcast arena, it's not stopping. And I wonder if this is going to be a fad. It's not going to be a fad. Okay. Podcasts are around, but are companies going to be paying these podcasters $100 million for 3 years left and right, as they are trying to do right now? It depends on the ads, I guess. And we'll see if that plays out. But not bad getting those types of paydays, man. Pretty remarkable when you look at that, right? It's $100 million left and right. These podcasters. You put together a solid podcast, you probably get scooped up for 9 figures right now. Now you got to be the top of the top, but nonetheless, pretty remarkable. All right, we jump around. Said we're going to talk a little health stocks. So, Eli Lilly selling Zepbound vials at 50% discount to meet weight loss drug demand. If anybody has any experience with this in the den, I'm not looking to take any myself, but I'm just curious how this all works, because I believe you need a prescription for this, right? I feel like I'm seeing ads left and right now online trying to push this stuff, which it is. But you got direct-to-consumer sites, okay? Patients with prescriptions for Zepbound can purchase a month's supply of single-use vials through Lilly's direct-to-consumer site starting today. The company said in the statement the vials are priced at about half of what shots cost, with the higher dose going for $5.49. Excuse me. They're usually in an auto-ejector pen. With vials, patients need to fill syringes on their own, but it saves them production time. So they're selling vials of it now. Half of what the shot costs. I don't know how that works, right? I guess. I mean, why didn't everybody get a vial? It seems like everybody can probably figure out how to do that. You use a safe needle, whatever it is, versus paying for an auto injector at double the cost. Both Lilly and their rival have struggled to keep up with that insatiable demand. And this is, AI gets all the acceleration, but this is going to be a game changer, and it's happening right now. And I think that number is going to be light, man. Right? A market that's expected to reach $130 billion by the end of the decade, I think that's going to be light, folks. I think the whole world is going to want these things the way that they're playing out. And there's no magic kill in what it is. I will check it out. Thanks, Dan. But it seems like a magic pill. And that $130 billion seems a little light when you talk about that it's always been the holy grail is weight loss, right? And we see it play out that not only just weight loss, but it's actually contributing. And there you go. On this news, up 1.3%. There's a little bit of volatility. You go down to 920. Looks like the market wasn't sure how to decipher that news. You open, you say, yeah, we love that news. Keep pumping it out to the people, no matter what the price is. And I think that's an all-time high. Is that an all-time high for Eli Lilly right now? It sure is. Nope. 972 is the all-time high. Did we hit that this morning, though? No. From Thursday was the all-time high. We're trading right now up 1.5%. But I'm curious how they're going to reach above 130, because that's a low number, man. You think about the amount of money that these tech companies are spending just on AI chips, and you got a holy grail of weight loss out there, and you think it's only going to be $130 billion by the end of the decade. I imagine we're going to push it all out, folks. And if you really want to hoot, go check out the South Park episode about those weight loss drugs, man. I watched that a couple months back. Tongue in cheek, of course. Stay tuned, folks. We'll talk some other equities. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks, and continuing that conversation about Lilly and the GLP-1 drugs, Hims, right? Now, I see a ton of ads for this, too. They got it's a telehealth company, and they're trying to pump out compound versions of these GLP-1s, and you can see how that is not news that is good for them. They're down 6% today. You see the slide, you're off by $25. You want some volatility. How about this equity, right? Up to 25, down to 2, up to 25, back to 15. We'll see where we go from there. Compound versions of these drugs are available. Estimated $1 billion market, direct competition with those pharmaceutical companies, Lilly and Novo. And yeah, this telehealth company that sells copycat weight loss drugs, they're down 6%. And I imagine that's going to be a problem when you get direct-to-consumer sites. But yeah, pretty remarkable. So they had always talked about that one of the biggest bottleneck issues for Lilly is making the auto-injecting pens. Making its injector pens has bottleneck supply. And so what did they do? They were pressuring them to say, just push out the vials. And they did it. They pushed out the vials. We'll see where that goes, but nonetheless, on the rise. All right, a couple other articles I want to get to by the program. So, T-bill and chill. This one's going to be an interesting one. How about money market funds? $6.24 trillion. What is going to happen to them as those guaranteed risk-free rates of return diminish as the Fed begins to cut? We will see. Yeah. Look at, they raked in $106 billion this month alone. Who's putting money in money markets right now? I mean, you're still getting 5.25 or 5.5, okay? But it is remarkable that that game is going to end. Money market fund assets at an all-time high. You get the Fed funds rate. Look at it, right? We were at 4.5 trillion. So how about that one? Wrap your head around that one. Money market funds were sitting at 4.5 trillion when the Fed rate was at 0. Whew. That's a problem, okay? Talk about a missed opportunity when you think about what the market's done from going back then. But it is interesting. We've risen for the entirety of that time. Excuse me. And it would make sense that when the Fed begins to cut, that game is going to change. And we'll see where that money goes. Money markets may continue to appeal. It's the scope of the rate cuts that matters. Probably don't have to tell you that, right? We're at 5.25, 5.5 right now. You could cut by a full percentage point, and you'd still be at almost 4.25% is what you'd be yielding there. 5% T-bill yields on borrowed time. Yeah, I would say so. That's a 3-month Treasury bill. You're going down, folks, okay? The 10-year yield, it's gotten ahead. The 3-month is still going to be up there because, the Fed's not even cutting until September, 16th. They got 6 weeks after that until the next cut. But yes, we have $6.25 trillion in money market funds. And even if you're just talking about a couple trillion that's been pushed in there since these rates have risen, you're going to be talking about a dramatic amount of capital on the sidelines. And where does that money go? We're going to find out, man. but it's about to happen right now. You got Berkshire in there. How about $234 billion in the second quarter of T-bills? Yeah, quite a number. All right, other articles I want to pull up here. How about the NFL? Well, they got a meeting today, and those companies are finally worth enough money that guess what? They're going to allow private equity because there's not many individuals that can buy an NFL team anymore. So they're going to allow private equity to the tune of at least 10%, not at least 10%, up to 10%. At a meeting Tuesday afternoon, NFL owners expected to pass a new policy going to allow them to sell up to 10% of their teams to a select group of pre-approved firms. Yeah, not just anybody. You're just talking about a few, select few firms. Now, who is in there? The league's initial approved list of firms expected to include Arctos, a pioneer in the field of buying minority stakes in sports franchises, as well as other deep-pocketed firms with experience. Okay, you're talking about Ares Management, Sixth Street, and a 4-member consortium made up of Blackstone, Carlyle, CVC, and Dynasty Equity, another sports-focused firm. Yeah, Blackstone is the only firm with no prior investments in sports teams, but they snuck their way in there. Massive scale and familiar name, I would say so. And yeah, so approved buyers had to sign up to the league's parameters, which include no governance rights, no preferred equity investments, and a requirement to hold stakes for a minimum of 6 years. But guess what? It doesn't matter. People want in on this game, and they're going to do it anyway. And it seems inevitable that list is going to expand. They're allowed to buy stakes in up to 6 different clubs. So Arctos could own pieces of both the Chiefs, 49ers. I mean, it is going to be interesting when you get private equity, right? And it's only the beginning. If you're at 10%, when are they going to push it to 20, et cetera? The Celtics are up for sale right now. If you heard, Bezos is out there as one of the possible suitors. $6 billion. There's only a few people that can buy a sports team when you're talking about $6 billion is what the price tag is going to be for the Celtics, and NFL teams are even bigger than that, it seems, right now. But yeah, they're the only ones that have held out. Other NBA teams allow it. NBA teams allow up to 30% to institutional investors so long as any individual fund owns no more than 20%. It's even more freewheeling. Yeah, when you get it in terms of AC Milan, soccer over there. NFL's not going to go the European soccer model, which allows sovereign wealth funds to buy teams. I mean, when it's probably a matter of if, when, not a matter of if. But yes, that happens today. They got a meeting this afternoon, and private equity going to start coming in, so those valuations probably going up even from there. And this one's an interesting one. We got a bunch of listeners up in New England, New Hampshire, and New Hampshire. They're fighting to keep that 603 area code. They are the last state that's got one area code for their entire state, and they're doing everything they can to keep it that way. There were originally, this was interesting, let's see, yeah. New Hampshire is among the last 11 single area code states. Okay, so there's 11, down from 35. I guess that would make sense. What do you got? The Dakotas out there, right? Some of the small states that can handle one area code for population-wise. Excuse me. 907 still covers all of Alaska, but New Hampshire, they only got a few more years, and then they're going to run out, and they're going to see what they can do. And AT&T previously channeled this wavelength in an ad campaign highlighting some of those codes, of course. Tourism bureaus trying to push that as well. Yeah, there you go. You got South Dakota. Good old Dakotas. What do they got? Talk about some low populations out there. Oh, excuse me, folks. Excuse me. Just getting over this little cold. It's not fun, but I'll be all right. So New Hampshire is aiming to emulate Maine, which has preserved its 207 area code through various measures. And what they do is they prod carriers to free up unused numbers, okay? And you look at where it goes. Some of these, you get 1,000 numbers at a pop, it looks like. I was reading this earlier, and they free up some of those. Where are they? Excuse me, folks. Sorry about this. You get a little sip of my coffee. All right, we're going to take a break. Perfect. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk this. We're going to talk a little bit of Bank of America when we come back as well. Stay tuned, folks. We'll talk a little bit of Bank of America when we get back. We got markets negative by 12. Stay tuned. We'll be right back, folks.
The Gold Report. As a precious metal, gold is still king. It continues to hold the most effective safe haven and hedging properties across the global major trading hubs of the London OTC market, the U.S. futures market, and the Shanghai Gold Exchange. The Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his weekly gold report every Monday morning for subscribers, consisting of coverage of the XAU, HUI, GDX, the dollar, bonds, the South African rand, as well as 25 different mining equities with specific buy-sell recommendations. The Gold Report. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Subscribe to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report newsletter now at TFNN.com.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com and hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com and hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. The market's clawing back some of those losses a bit. S&P's now just off by 8 points. Where were we? We were down to a low of 56.11. We're up by 17 from there. We're off just by single digits. NASDAQ just off by 44. Dow off by 32. But the Russell, no bounce there. Russell off a full percentage point. And we'll finish it up with a little bit of talk of Bank of America and rates. Bank of America up by 0.1%. So how the bank's going to do when we start cutting, right? This is an interesting one from the Journal, talking about Buffett's been selling Bank of America, but maybe there's some highlights, and I found it interesting. And one thing they say is, listen, Buffett's making plans for 5-10 years down the road, but when you look at where we are this quarter, next quarter, or what may happen as the Fed begins to cut, it is interesting when you look at where the banks are, how they're positioned, and how much money these banks are making off of net interest income, which is the money they're making on some of those overnight lendings. And you look at the flip side of that, if you recall, Bank of America, right, hold to maturity securities, they got a ton of them. So what's going to happen is, yes, they're going to make a little bit less than they had on the net interest income, but they're going to be a beneficiary because when they have such a vast bond portfolio that when the Fed begins cutting, those hold-to-maturity securities are going to appreciate in value and knock off some of those losses. Yeah, and what are they at? They're at like 600 billion or something like that, I think, of hold-to-maturity securities. Now, what this article states is, first, take a look at the quarterly net interest income of the large U.S. lenders. J.P. Morgan is just like a juggernaut, man. They just beast everything. And then you look at Bank of America, Citi, and Wells Fargo, okay? So Bank of America's loan losses were 5.5% of average balances in the Fed's most recent stress test, well below the 7.1% average across the 31 large banks. So they got lower numbers there that might be stressed. If the Fed were to make a 3/4 point cut before the end of the year, the bank expects its quarterly net interest income will be lower by $225 million, but you have their vast portfolio of loans that may help it. Wish we had more time. Nonetheless, folks, stay tuned. We got our man Basil Chapman coming up next. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.